welcome back to another episode of the Benchwarmers. I'm joined by my co-host who is flying around on his broomstick at the moment, Brad Bain. Good to have you here and good to see you made it on time.
It's been a big week, Chook, and yes, glad the broomstick got me here on time, mate, and good to have you back in the state as well. A tough seat to sit back in. Jacob did a fantastic job last week and nearly put you to shame.
Producer Jacob, he did a good job. He's well knowledged in the Barossa, obviously playing in the comp and watches a lot more of it than we do, Brad.
Yes.
But we are the experts when it comes to projecting it back to the fans. We've got to thank our major sponsor, The Exchange. You will see we are down at Rejuvenate Sports and Remedial Therapy tonight, thanks to Brad and his support of the show. We thought we'd pop down there for a look. Great facility, Brad, and go and see him getting those pre-finals calf rubs as well, Brad, as you always needed in your career. We're going to have a quick break, thank the rest of our sponsors, and come back, talk what is a big feel-good fill-up. Yeah, as we said, thank you to all of our sponsors. I've got to give another big thank you to the Exchange Hotel and our Feel Good Fill Up sponsor, Rejuvenate Sports and Remedial Therapy, where we are tonight. They look after this segment each and every week, and it's a big segment, a lot going on at the moment, and I'm going to throw it to you because you just get so excited with this.
It's big, Chook, and it's good value for money these days because they're getting longer segments by the show. And rightfully so, with the Olympics on at the minute. It's hard to split all of it. So we are absolutely flying in the Olympics, but I'll get to that. The honourable mention first goes out to the Thunderbirds and the whole of South Australia, and I should throw Peter Malinauskas within that as well. He just keeps popping up on this show week in, week out. They won the back-to-back Super Netball titles on Saturday night, 59-57 over the Melbourne Vixens, if you don't mind. Nothing better than an SA win over those darn Victorians, Chookie. And they went in hot favourites, a scratchy start, 3-9 down, and in netball terms, that's a little deficit that you had to deal with. Yes. But what I liked, we held our nerve, we stuck to the plan, we didn't get too tied up on the 2-point shots because they can throw the game plan off. It can be tempting to go for the twos, but we stuck at it, got it straight under the ring. And Ramauda Aiken-George took the shooter for the Thunderbirds. She had a scratchy start to her own admission, but she stuck at it. 42 goals, best on court, and I just really like that win. It was a really measured win. We struggled at times, but it was fantastic in the end. Yeah,
well done. I knew you obviously love your netball. The netball coaching, you came out a few times, the frustration watching the game, and you weren't happy with the shooter points, but she's come up clutch.
Yeah, she did, Chookie, and I was calling at times for Lucy Austin to come on, the 2-point specialist, but what would I know? We held our nerve and we did it just by sticking to the simple stuff and doing it well.
Well, I mean, that's the honourable mention.
I've got more, Chook, I've got more. As we know, the Olympics are happening all the way over in Paris, and Australia, we should cover off the top with third on the medal tally as well. 2 ahead of Great Britain, if you don't mind, and they're made up of 4 countries.
Oh, don't get me started.
So we're still 2 ahead of a team with 4 countries, which is a continent. That's right. It's great to see. We're third on the tally. The big dogs are above us. We might be chasing them down. But for me, Chook, the highlight so far as well, away from how good the Aussies are, you can't go further than Snoop Dogg. He's embraced the Olympics in style. He's popped up absolutely everywhere for some reason. He's dancing with Simone Biles. He went for a swim with Michael Phelps. He tried fencing. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. He's been feeding carrots to horses. He dressed up in equestrian gear. And earlier in the week he said, and I won't try the voice, I'm interested in the horses that dance and I want to give them some carrots and apples. And that's it. I just love the way he has gone about it. And believe it or not, he's actually working with the NBC. He's their prime time Olympics correspondent. So that's why he's everywhere. He's as big as it gets in the Olympics media, and God, they've done a good job.
Australia, we've got Matty Pavlich. In America, they've got Snoop Dogg.
Yes, it's incredible, but that's the way that the media is going, isn't it, Chook? Giving people like Snoop Dogg and Chooker a go in the media. It's great to see.
It is good to see. He's got a great personality. He's also been spotted down at the beach volleyball quite a bit as well. You might be able to shed some light on that, Brad.
Yes, they're talented down there, Chookie and Snoop Dogg. He just loves all his sports, as I said. He went for a dip with Michael Phelps, fed horses carrots, and nothing stopping him.
Well done, Brad. A great feel-good fill-up. We're going to have a quick break. It was a big segment, lots to get through. Quick break. Let's get into some BLG footy after this. right, Brad, we've had our fun. It's time to get into the serious business now. Round 15 in the Barossa. We're going to talk about the ladder later, but this thing is heating up. Teams that we might have rode off 2 weeks ago now sitting in the top two. It's incredible. Let's get into game one, and this was a belter. It's an under 7-10-52, defeating Nuri 7-7-49. Talk to us about this game, Brad, because it was a close finish.
Close as it gets, came down to, I believe, the second last kick of the game, or the last significant kick of the game, and that's as close as it gets. Calhoun best on ground and 3 goals for Tanunda. You know he just stands up when he needs and does what he has to. For Nuri, couple more familiar names, Norton best on ground and Henke 3 goals. They certainly feature at the pointy end of the year. As I said, Chucky, it came down to the last kick of the game. Nuri, they thought it had actually gone through at that point. Little bit of celebrations. The wind has just sort of taken it across the face of goal, and which meant they actually fell 3 points short, which does have a massive implication on the ladder. That does leave Nuri in 4th, and it leaves Tanunda top of the ladder, and believe it or not, that kick would have had them equal on points. So that's what we're dealing with.
It's crazy. I believe it was Kai Rosenswag that had the kick, and one of their young talents at Nuri, and he kicked a bit better opportunity than Mitch McGovern on Friday night did for Carlton. But they're heartbreakers. I reckon, I don't know, do you want the footy in that moment, or do you not want the footy?
Oh, you've got to want it. Back in my day, you have to say you want it, but I'd probably find myself, I would have found someone else better to kick it.
You would have looked to pass it off.
Yes.
I reckon I would have too. So you can't begrudge someone for being in that position,
No.
Close game, and you said the repercussions were quite serious, and as you said, could have been on equal points.
I need to check my maths there. I've actually had a boo-boo there. That wouldn't have put them even, but it would have put them within 1 win. I've just added that up. So you don't... in my maths, you don't lose a win if you lose. Nuri is still on 9.
Yep, okay.
9 wins.
So we'll skip that and have a look at the next game. Barossa District 15, 105, defeating Kapunda 8-12-60 in that one.
Yeah, this was obviously a close one. Kapunda flying the flag. They've obviously kicked a decent score for the day. Me and Jacob had a good discussion around this game that Kapunda may give it a good shake.
Yes.
They obviously have compared to some other games for the year. For Barossa, it was Gant best on ground and Harris 6 goals. For Kapunda, it was Menzel best on ground and 3 goals. Barossa doing what they have to, building for next year. It would be tough to sort of roll out. It's a strange season. They're a quality side, but they're rolling out for the last 5 weeks of the year, and they know they can't really make finals. So it's interesting. It'd be a challenge to coach a side like that. Importantly, during the week, they did announce, though, a massive re-signing of Gant, Carpenter, Webb and Jew. So they're really building and steadying the ship for 2025.
Yeah, 4 of their really important players at good ages, which will help set the foundation of what they're looking to do next year, and they'll be just thinking, get us into the new facility as quick as we can. So,
yes.
Which is drove past it today, coming along wonderfully as well.
Good, because we're running out of time before gather round. Absolutely,
but Mally will get it done. Brad, this one, huge game. Williston 13-8-86, defeated by South Gawler 6-15-51. Every time I tip Williston, they lose. Every time I don't tip them, they win. Yeah. They're sitting second on the ladder, Brad.
They were a lot lower than that not long ago, and they're actually equal top. So a kick either way could have actually meant they were stand out top of the ladder. They're a force to be reckoned with, Chook, and we know in those close games and those grudge matches, they're going to be up for the fight in a big way. So for Williston, it was Henschke best on ground and Waldhuter 5 goals. He appears to be the solution for Lehman going down earlier in the year. For South, it was Flynn Bassani best on ground. Obviously, he's been back for a couple of weeks now from overseas. And Dean Cutting, 3 goals. I think we reported him last week as just coming back as well.
I had heard a whisper that there might have been panic stations set in at South, and a few phone calls went out. I did wonder, did your phone ring?
No, it hasn't. No, there's not that much of panic stations just yet. They're still equal force. They haven't got that far down into the phone book.
Just thought I'd check, and it was a good time to ask you. But Williston, Brad, yet to lose a game at home this year.
That's a big stat, and I love that you've come with something for round 15 and you brought a stat to the table. I didn't know that, and that is massive.
Haven't lost one game. So, and I think they play Anguston at home to finish, and then they finish with a bye. So,
yes, so
big couple of weeks for the Donnybrooks. But we're worried about their way to goal with Lehman and a few crucial injuries.
Yep.
But they look like they're probably now sharing the load a bit more.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. They've got a lot of star power up forward and in the midfield, the likes of Hoskin, McKenzie, Waldhuter. If they want to drift forward and get on the end of them, they can. Or if they just want to do what they have to and sit behind the footy, they can as well. They're a quality outfit, and they're going to be very, very nice to watch, and we've got to keep a close eye on them.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. They're going to be big come the finals. Last game, Brad, Angaston 23-17. 155 defeating Freeling, 6-6-42. Huge score from the Panthers.
Huge score, and we touched on as well, myself and Jacob, as we do in those intellectual chats that we had. We talked about the challenge for Angaston was actually sticking at this one and knowing how important percentage may be over the next 3 weeks. And they have done it from the get-go. It was 9-6-60 to 1-1 at quarter time. So Angaston, you could have forgiven them for just sort of cruising through this one and getting it done by 5 goals or so, but they put the foot down from the start. It was Summerton best on ground, Durden 7 goals. For Freeling, it was Oliver best on ground and Koshel 4 goals. That puts Durden now 15 goals ahead of the next in the leaderboard. That's as big a lead as I've seen for a while in the BLG.
It's certainly a bigger lead than where the ladder sits. So well done to Durds. We're big fans of Durds. And a shout out to Moldsy from Angaston as well. More probably known as should be in the common age, should be a Div 12 Resi, but he's actually made his A-grade debut on the weekend. So shout out Moldsy, big fan, and we're big fans of you at the show. So I don't know how he went, don't know how, but good to see him get an A-grade game. So well done, Brad, to Moldsy. So
absolutely.
Some big scores there. Looking forward to having a look at round 16. We're getting very, very tight here at the end, Brad. We're going to have a quick break, thank our sponsors, and come back and have a look at round 16. Righto, Brad, round 16. This is your domain. Let's talk ladder. Let's talk round 16 matchups. What do you got for us?
My domain, and apologies for those at home before with the boo-boo with the numbers. I hope they're not hanging their hat on that and going into the team meetings with the numbers I delivered before. But to clarify, we do have Tanunda on top, equal with Williston, who are second, both on 11 wins. Angaston next on 10 wins, and in equal fourth, we have Newry and South on 9 wins. So it's heating up, but it's not getting any closer to working out who the top 4 is, because South, crucially, have had the bye as well. So they have a game on a couple of those above them. Yeah,
next week we're going to go through the last 2 rounds and how it could play out with those byes as well. It's an interesting look to see how that lands. So let's have a look at round 16. I want to get your thoughts and your tip for each game. Freeling, first Williston.
Yeah, Chook. Williston for me for this one. I don't know any other way to do that. I think Williston are flying. Freeling will make them earn it as well, but Williston going really well.
Agree. I'm with the Donnybrooks as well. South Gawler taking on Barossa. Now this Barossa might feel like they can get a big scalp here.
Big scalp, and they're obviously trying to build towards next year. And I said last week on the show, South Gawler don't often lose 2 in a row, and they did. I don't know what I'll do if they lose 3 in a row, but I think they will do absolutely everything to get this done because they have to. So South for me. I'm
going to go South as well. I'm just buyer beware on South at the moment. I keep driving past the oval. It looks in pretty poor condition, which means players heavy legs.
Yep.
Hard to stay motivated this time of year when you're in that sort of mind frame with those conditions. So I am a little bit worried on where they're at, but I'm going to go with South and back in their talent to go and beat Barossa there as well. Tanunda taking on Kapunda, Brad.
Yeah, obviously Tanunda are a class act. They've got a lot of stars that they're going to all start to come back from work over the next 3 weeks, Chook. You just know they'll start to get up for the finals. Kapunda, they're obviously playing for a bit of pride at the minute, seeing if they can get their first win on the board, but Tanunda for me.
Yeah, I'm going with the Pies, led by Sammy Calhoun, who's had a fantastic year as well, Brad. And last game of the round, Newry taking on Gawler Central in the Battle of the Tigers. Yeah,
Gawler Central fresh off a bye and a bit of team building last week. They're a good bunch of lads down there, but I don't think that gets you the win this week. I think Newry... I think Newry get it done. And the first week in a long time, I should have mentioned that the top 4 teams, none of them play each other. So not a very interesting week for tipping, is it, when we agree on everything?
Good. It's not. It's a good stat and good to have as well. But going to be interesting, and I think if we can see one upset in there, It'll throw your ladder into
disarray.
a meltdown as well.
Yes,
which
it will. And without that all happening, I think the ladder, for the first time in a long time again, I think it actually will stay unchanged week to week. Anguston's sitting third with the bye, but I believe percentages will actually sort everyone out, and it should stay unchanged for those playing along.
Well done, Brad. Love you. Love the research you put into the ladder each and every week. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. It's been one of high energy. We'd like to thank our sponsors, the Exchange Hotel, who help the show go to air each and every week. Rejuvenate Sports and Remedial Therapy, where we're shooting from tonight. We hope to see you all next week.